Good morning, My Time TV viewers. Sandra Meehan here, and we're live on Conscious Chats with Sandra. And today I have an awesome guest all the way from New York who's going to chat with us all about hitting rock bottom. So hitting rock bottom and finding the nutrient-rich compost for growth underneath it. What an awesome topic we're going to be chatting about today. And I really like the way that our guest that we've got today has actually written this out, because it is compost and we do grow up through all of that, and a lot of it we don't realize. So today's guest is Suzanne Mahadeo. I hope I've got that as pronounced as correctly as I can possibly do. And when Suzanne comes on, I'm going to ask her to explain what her actually name means, because I found it quite interesting. So for more than 10 years, Suzanne has been on a path to spiritual enlightenment. She has guided and mentored people from all walks of life by sharing her own healing, transformation, and spiritual life lessons. As a spiritual seeker, she worked, lived, traveled through 22 countries, finding the common threads of truth between all of humanity. What a beautiful thing to be able to do. Suzanne has practiced I'll get her to say the name of it, meditating for 10 hours a day. 10 hours a day, oh my God, that is discipline. In Jaipur, India, and participated in heart-centered indigenous sweatlodge healing ceremonies in southern Mexico, where she had her first baby. Suzanne has volunteered in Panama, where she had her second baby, taught at a women's college in the mountains of Honduras, eaten a PB&J sandwich on the lip of an active volcano in Indonesia. I wonder whether that was anywhere near Bandung, and drove into the Indian Ocean with weights on her hips. Dived, I think, even though she was once terrified of swimming. Wow. Suzanne has also experienced many heartbreaks and heartaches throughout her life for the purpose of overcoming and showing others how to heal. And this is normally what happens to us all. It's through our own journey and our own heartbreaks and heartaches that helps us step into what we're here to do. Suzanne understands how to transform pain of grief in the forms of losing housing security, house fire, relationship security, divorce, financial security, job loss, and custody battles into forgiveness, togetherness, and peace. Suzanne practices and teaches clients how to heal and transform fear into intergenerational trauma and injustice. Now, I can relate to a lot of that, except I haven't had a house fire, but I have been, house security has happened a lot. So let's bring this wonderful woman who has put her hand up to have a conscious chat with us today. And without any further ado, I will bring Suzanne up. How are you? And welcome.
I'm good. Hi, Sandra. Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me.
What an amazing bio. What an interesting bio. What an interesting life you have led so far.
Yes. So my name is Suzanne Mahadeo. Maha like Mahatma, and Deo means God. So it literally translates to God is great. Yes. Hearing my bio, it's one of those things where we look back on our life and it's hard to remember all the things that we've done, but yep, it all happened.
Because I have this big belief that the most important part of our journey on life is not the day we're born or the day that we die. We're judged by the dash that's in the middle, which is called
Very
life.
true.
And
Yeah.
and that's what we're judged on, and the goodness that we can make, and the impact that we can make in between those two dates, I think is the most important thing as a human being. So what is a PB&J sandwich for us Aussie? Oh, peanut butter and jelly, is it?
Yes. There's peanut butter and jelly.
Just when I've gone, that's what it is. So, and where was the active volcano in Indonesia?
It was in Mount Bromo. Yeah, Mount Bromo. So
whereabouts is that?
It's East Java.
Okay, cool. And
Borobudur. Yeah.
Dived into the Indian Ocean with weights on.
Yeah, that was a tough one because I grew up with a total fear of the water. My cousin tried to drown me when I was like 4 years old. So I grew up with that heavy, heavy fear of water, and I really wanted to break that fear. So I just went for it, and I went diving into the Indian Ocean to break the fear.
So how were you feeling at that time when how long did you just jump, or did you?
I got a guide to kind of talk me through it. I went down the first time and I had to come back up. And then by the time the second time, we went down 10 meters. So it was a slow process, but it's really important to kind of work through those fears, right?
Oh, it is. It is. And what a better way to do it than just face them, and the more, because it's fears is mainly just an illusion that sits in between our two ears, unless we really believe we're going to die, like when you drown. So that would have been, obviously, a cousin tried to drown you, which meant that there was a real fear there that you were going to die. So, so I can understand why you would hang on to that. And I find it interesting with the being in sweat lodges in South Mexico.
Yes, that was a beautiful experience. And when you had mentioned that, when I went traveling, I found a string of truth that is common amongst all humans. I really think it's love, because when I was in South Mexico, I don't speak Spanish at all, but somehow we still really understood each other, and I was still able to go through the experience of being in a sweat lodge and having a transformative experience in their Temescal sweat lodge. And nobody could understand me. I couldn't understand them through our words, but through our heart, we could completely understand. So,
and I think that's a great message, especially now with the turmoil and everything that our current planet is going through, that we can all connect through our heart,
right,
and create a greater change. And have you ever been to Australia?
I went to New Zealand. I went there and I was there for 4 months, and I did not make it to Australia, but yes, next time.
So yeah, I love New Zealand. We call it our soul brothers and sisters across the dip, and we're very good at flinging dirt at one another. There's this Aussie Kiwi thing that happens. I've got many friends in New Zealand, and they're just like brothers and sisters, and New Zealand's a part of us, and we're a part of them, and we'd love to have you come out to Australia and see our beautiful country when this world decides to come back to some sense of a new normal, whatever that new normal looks like. So today we're talking about hitting rock bottom, and I like the way that you wrote when I asked you for a topic that you'd like to talk on that we could discuss. And and what you wrote after that really is, I found it quite, what's the word I'm looking for? I've never seen anybody write it like this, and I've interviewed a lot of people, and they'll always use words that are very much in the mind, but I found this really coming from the heart, what you wrote, and finding the nutrient-rich compost of growth underneath it. I've never heard it explained that way, like being out in the garden, and that's what's there. So I'm really looking forward to today's chat. So what I'm going to ask you before we start, are you a dog or a cat woman?
I have a cat, but I also love dogs, so I don't discriminate.
Yeah, we've got one of each. So my cat may walk across the while we're chatting. So she likes to get in every now and again. So I'm going to ask you, what have you learnt from hitting rock bottom, and how did you hit rock bottom? So there's two questions there. So what happened for you to hit rock bottom, and then we'll lead into it, what you learnt from it.
Okay. So I would say the first huge rock bottom that I had was when I was living in Austin, Texas. I was 25 years old. My ego was huge at that point, because I had a beautiful job. I had my own home. It was 4 bedrooms. I had a beautiful brand new car. I was making as much as like the engineers that I knew. So I was like on top of the world. But my house caught on fire. And that was a huge blow to everything that I had known. My inflated, wonderful ego took a huge nosedive into the ground and went further into the ground, because everything that I had grown up learning, that you get your education, you get your car and your house, and you're set for life, completely went up in flames with my house. So that was a big one. The second one was the divorce that I went through. I have 2 children, and I never could have envisioned in a million years I would have been a single mother. So going through that whole experience was also, hitting the rock bed of rock bottom.
Yes, and I can relate to the divorce. My children were older, but it's not something that you anticipate happens. But on another level, we sign up to learn the lessons and take all the plants and leave the weeds behind.
Yeah.
Going by your rich compost of soil. So I just thought I'd throw that in. So what did you learn from hitting rock bottom? And yeah, I really before you answer that, I really admire you for bringing up your ego. And we've all got one, and we all have one. And people will say, well, I don't have an ego, but we all do, and it doesn't necessarily have to mean that we've got. And I was like you. I had the house, I had the cars, I had everything, and it was just like, yes, I've made it, got a great job, was earning great money, and that's the time of my divorce, and then. My marriage and my job went at the same time, and I was just left with nothing. It was just like, that was my rock bottom. But we can then go into the other side of our ego, which is poor bugger me and I'm the victim. And that's ego too.
That's true. That's so right.
And a lot of people don't realize that it's our ego that's keeping us down in there, and the idea is to bring that balance up and find that balance where we can balance it. The two up. We're either this way or we're down that way. And when we play the life as victim, we're allowing our ego and our negative thought process to keep us there. So I really appreciate that you brought up about the ego. So I'll let you answer the question now.
Well, definitely. And that's definitely a great point that, we can go from one extreme to the other and end up in a victim consciousness kind of situation where we think life is happening to us. And I mean, at some point, we all go through that. And on many levels, everything that I experienced, those rock bottoms, I called them to me in some way or another. It took a long time to recognize that and take responsibility, because I never would have thought, how could I have called a divorce to me? How could I have called being treated not so great to me? But at the end of the day, my mindset drew that to me. So that was part of a lesson that I learned. Now, as far as the, nutrient-rich compost, when I hit that rock bottom, it was so hard and so rough and so damaging, and it scraped me up so much and wounded and bruised me up. But I had to lay there for a while, and when you're laying on your back on rock bottom, there's no one around you. We really can look up at the stars, and we really can see that there's an entire universe around us. And from there, I was even able to kind of like recognize that, okay, under this rock bottom, there's like worms crawling under here, and it's gross and icky, but there is beautiful compost under here. And through this compost, we can grow so much. Our souls can be planted down there and start to take root, and now we can grow. And in such a way that perhaps if I had not hit rock bottom, I wouldn't have even known what was down there. I would have continued on. And I knew deep inside of me, even though my ego felt great and whatever, I knew deep inside of me, I did not have a sense of like fulfillment and purpose. And it was just something gnawing at me. And that feeling doesn't really exist anymore. That feeling just kind of went up in flames. So, when I was in New Zealand, for 4 months, I was working in organic gardening. I was volunteering, I was woofing. So that's where I kind of learned about compost. I learned about, NPK and these things. So it really did stick with me that compost is so important. We need it. We need that soil. We need to be able to have a foundation that is rich and that can hold us and that we can grow out of. So I'm grateful for those rock bottoms because I know what is under there now.
Yeah, and it's not until we do hit rock bottom and we can live and I guess there's a lot of that in reality to what's happening now. There's people just getting on with their life and they don't understand what's going on because they're unaware. And when we're unaware, we don't know that there's all this stuff that we still have to go through as spirit and physicality. And when I hit my rock bottom, it was the most rewarding thing for me, because then I could let go of what was no longer serving me. Like I had a beautiful home and cars and all of that, but the one thing it didn't make me was happy. Because I thought I was happy, but when I actually thought about it, I wasn't happy, because I wasn't being me. I was being what society expected me to be and expected me to have. And what, like you said at the beginning, what we're taught: buy the car, buy the house, get the great job, do this, and all of that. And then you become somebody. But what we become is everything bar our true, authentic selves.
Right.
Yes. And we can still have that. We can still have all of that, but it's for the reason that we want to have it. We can still have the great job. It might not be in the job that we had, but we can still earn great money. We can still have nice homes and that. But it's because we want it, not because we want to prove something to society and things like that. And a lot of people, when they get to rock bottom, they go on this spiritual journey type of thing, go, oh no, I can't have that because I'm over here now. Well, I say to them, well, you're entitled to everything. It's just how we feel about it. Whether if we've got, a brand new, $150,000 car, and you say nobody else can drive it, it's got to be parked in the shed. Why have it?
Yeah, right.
It's just for show. And I really loved it that you said you took responsibility, because that's the hardest thing. And for me, somebody said to me a few years ago, I was going through something as well, and it's about 7 years ago now, and she said, when are you going to take responsibility for the part you played in? And I was so down in the mud at that time, because we always get down into the mud. It's just how long we stay in it. And I'm like, I walked out there going, it's not my fault. What do you mean?
Yeah.
But when I sat with it, I went, I haven't played a role in it, because I allowed this person to treat me like that.
Right. Yes.
We allow it, and we don't see it where we could actually stand in our own power. And that's where we learn to take responsibility for it. But then the other side of it is, it's not up to them to fix it for us. It's up to us to take responsibility so we can fix it and become better people.
Yes. Beautiful. Exactly.
So is that how your thing through responsibility went, or?
Yes. So after my divorce, I went on a very long alchemization process where I literally was in my parents' basement, like writing sticky notes all over the walls to alchemize deep, dark emotions. And day after day after day, I would pick one. Like, I want to turn blame into forgiveness. And then the universe would send me something where I could choose to blame someone, or I could choose to forgive them. And the next day, I want to take anger and turn it into friendliness. And I feel angry. And then I just go outside and say hi to somebody. And I went through this huge process through every single one of my chakras. And it just kept going on and on and on until I got to a point where I was just like, and it's still going on. I mean, there's always work to do, right? But it was just, I've kind of figured out a way to kind of alchemize all of those lower energy forms and bring them to what I actually want. And what I've learned, and now I'm a coach, I'm a transformation coach, and I really want to take others through a journey from victimhood. So I'm glad you brought that up, all the way to like their vision, their highest vision for what they want to do in this world. Because I believe, and many, many people believe, that we are what we think and we create what we think. So when we start aligning our thoughts with what we actually want, we can get there faster. We can get there smoother. We can get there with joy and love and harmony and beauty and all the things that we actually do want. So that was the process that I went through, and just continuous learning and growing and recognizing that I won't know everything, but that I'm happy to be on this journey learning.
Oh, look, we're all on this journey of learning, and it doesn't matter how far in life. And my clients range from anywhere from 45 through to 75 and older. And when it's never too old to start the journey, and we're never too young to start the journey. But the younger we start it, the easier it becomes. A lot easier, because we as we get older, we hold, as I like to say, we hold more shit. And it's a little bit of which is still compost when you think about it.
There you go. That's so right.
So and we just hang on to it. And and I don't know about you, so I'm going to just go with this.
Okay.
Have you felt that what you went through has was something that you held in the divine feminine or in the divine masculine?
Ooh, that's a beautiful question. So I really do believe that I'm like spiraling into a unity of unifying both. And that's been a beautiful journey as well, because, you know, the masculine is all about taking action and being very directive and, you know, being in our power and just going for it. And the feminine is really more about, you know, dropping into our hearts and figuring that out. So I really have tried my best and to balance those two energies, because when we can do that, then we can attract others who are doing the same. And it's just a very more beautiful kind of harmonious way to go through the world. And because of that, I'm able to send my love out to both feminine energies and masculine energies and receive it back without having a preference for either. So I really enjoyed kind of balancing both.
And it is that balance, because we are all one. We're one. We're masculine and we are feminine. And whether we're a male or a female, we've got both those energies within us. And what I have found with a lot of my female clients is that they're very reluctant to go into that feminine energy because they've been hurt.
Right.
And it goes back generations and generations and generations. And this isn't about the way that we look as women or how we dress. It's really coming into that divine feminine heart flowing stuff and the energy of it. They put the energy of the hurt in with women, and it goes on. And it's the same with the masculine side. We've, as women, and we've had to over the years really step more into our masculine side, which is do, provide for the kids. You know, there's so many divorces and everything, single mums. There's women in the workforce. Our men haven't stepped up, or we've chosen partners. I won't say the men haven't stepped up. We've chosen partners to teach us things. Yes. And so we've become more masculine, and the men don't know how to be men, and the women don't know how to be women, in a sense of bringing that unity together. And as we work on our own feminine to bring her up, we must heal that masculine side of self. Did you find that as you're going through your journey?
Yes, I completely can understand what you're saying, especially with intergenerational trauma and just historical trauma that women go through. What I tend to think of it as, I had this thought today where women are so, like, there's no word to really describe what a woman is. There's so much energy and force and beauty, and it's like the natural force of the energy is a woman. And masculine energies can be very afraid of that, because they don't possess that necessarily if they're not in that energy. And when they are fearful, they may try to over-dominate that energy. And so that can lead to a lot of traumas. That can lead to a lot of abuse. That can lead to a lot of bad things in the world. And so I can see why women would kind of not want to deal with that part of themselves, because it's painful. It's a lot of pain that we would be holding to deal with that. So yes, I do feel like I went through that experience. On the other hand, what's on the other side of it, like healing through the pain, is love. And there's no amount of anything that can take me away from wanting to feel that love. It's just so juicy and beautiful. And like, I just love how it feels to be in my heart, and no amount of pain can erode that. You know, the heart chakra, the Sanskrit word for it, translates to unhurt, unstruck, unbeaten. So being able to get to a place where we can just really feel in our hearts is, you know, I don't want to sound cliche, but it was worth all of the pain to get here. And, you know, I think about Jesus and I think about Buddha. They both taught about love and compassion. And it's funny that, you know, whenever men find love and compassion, they start a new religion, whereas women just have that naturally. And so it's so important that, you know, world theologies get created out of this feeling of love. So I would recommend that anyone who has been through pain, I totally feel you. I see you. I may not know exactly what it was that you went through, but healing it and working through it and getting through it, the reward for that is something that I cannot explain. So.
And it brings, when we do work through it, it brings in a sense of inner peace, and we're as spirits, when we're not here souls, when we're not on the planet, we are all love. That's
Yes.
all we see, and that's all we know. We don't know anything else, but we come into our world that we live in, which has got duality, which is fear and love, and we learn. We have, I believe, and this is only my belief, that when we're born, because of the way that society is and the planet currently is, that we're born for failure. We're born for fear. Fear's been bred into us, and it isn't until we come into this place of rock bottom that a lot of people find that then they can truly find who they are. And this is what I like to call, this is what I believe the Great Awakening. I'm not going, that's what it is, because we do have an awakening or an awareness, but it's not until we come to that point that we go, I need to clear some of this stuff that I'm hanging on to, that we start to open up that lotus flower. I'm going to use a lotus, because the lotus comes up out of the mud, and when we hit rock bottom and we're in that dirt, as you call it, the compost, we're underneath, and it's as we start to come up, the lotus flower can open up more and more and more and more, and we can see more of ourselves and who we are. And a lotus flower, as you would know, the crown lotus has 1,000 petals, and it's each of us to open up all those lotuses that are in each chakra that puts us truly into our heart. And, you know, we're born out of darkness. We're born out of the womb. And I say this a lot. There's no light in my womb. I don't know about yours, but we channel through that darkness out into the light. And then for some reason, we come out into the light, and then we go back down into that darkness.
Interesting. So you're saying that when we come out of the womb, we come into lightness, and then we still have to journey through fear to hit rock bottom?
Yeah. Because we come out of that dark space, and it's light, and it's like, oh yeah, this is, you know, and then as we travel through our life, we go into fear, which dims our light, and brings us and then we have to find our way back up, just like the lotus in the Nile. It comes up out of the mud, and once it's come up out of the mud, and it knows it's heading straight for that light, just like you have on your transformation. It's like, I'm not going back down there.
Nope.
But yeah, that's just how I like to explain it. I don't know whether it resonates with you, but that's just how I like to explain our journey through life, is that lotus flower, that we open up all those petals, all those chambers, to become more and more and more of who we truly are on the planet.
Yes, I can definitely resonate with that.
So what I am going to ask you now, what got you interested in seeking to get better?
I have always had callings in every direction all the time. There's always just these callings. When I was 11, I wanted to be a writer. And by the time I was getting ready to go to college, I knew I wanted to travel overseas. I really wanted to go to school in Ireland. At that point, I looked it up, and I realized that there weren't many vegetarians in Ireland at that point, and everything was like meat and potatoes. So I didn't go there, but then I started having a calling to go to Thailand. And so after my house caught on fire, I was going to join the Peace Corps, but I didn't get accepted to there, and I just figured I wanted to just do it on my own. So I went to New Zealand, and then I went to Thailand, and then I started just traveling through the different countries. What was interesting, though, is when I mapped out everywhere I went, I had seen a map of like the ley lines, and how there's, it's basically a chakra system of the whole entire earth. And there are these points all over the planet that have a lot of divine energy, I would say. And somehow, some way, I was crisscrossing those ley lines as I was traveling without even knowing it. So I just had these callings, and I just kept following them and kept following them and kept doing what I was called to do. And as far as, wanting to get better, it's one of those things, like, I don't want to come back to this earth after this life. I've just decided that I don't want to. And so as hard as the lessons are, I don't want to have to repeat this existence again. Like, I'm happy to just do my best and move on. And whatever is next after this long life, I want to see this through. So that's where I'm at. Like, I may seem weird, I may seem strange, I may be seeing like I'm doing random things, but for me, I just have to follow my heart. Like, the sign behind me says, I don't know if you can see it, but it says, become loyal to your innermost truth, follow the way when all others abandon it, and walk the path of your own heart. So I got that in Bali, Indonesia when I was there, 10 years ago. And it's just something that I look at every single day. And this concept of truth kept coming up for me. And it's like, well, what is truth? What is truth? What is truth? And really what it is just like the voice that is in my heart that no one else can tell me. No one else can gaslight me. No one else can advise me on. It's just there for me. And I know that every single person has their own voice for them. And I cannot tell anyone else what is their truth. I can only honor it and respect it in them, as I hope they can do for me. And that to me is what makes us all connected. That is the single truth that runs through this whole entire world of humans. We all have our own truth in our hearts. And, similar to trees, how when you look down to a tree, all of the roots are connected. I think of that, all of us are connected through our energy. It's either going up or going down, but it's connected. And the more we connect into our hearts, there's only like love there. There's no, the only other thing that would be there is grief. But even with grief, we would have compassion for each other for going through grief, It's not one of those things where you can make fun of somebody or humiliate someone for going through grief. We tend to feel for each other more when we're going through sadness, heartbreak, heartache. So it brings about compassion. And I don't know if that answers your question, but it's just, I wanted to get better because it was just, I don't see any other choice but to kind of grow and connect and do what I can to make this world a better place. Because if I don't do that, then I have to come back, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I'm hearing you there, sister. I don't particularly want to come back either. So I have my mission, my vision is to touch the lives of 10,000 of 1 million people, and 1 million women, mainly women, so they can go out and touch the lives of another million women or another million people. This way we will change the world, whether it's directly or indirectly, whether it's having a chat with you and people hear me chat, or they hear you chat. We're touching the lives of many people, and we're sowing those seeds of change. And sowing the seeds of change has to be done in a way that it's just sown. And it's like, and I think there's never a better time than what's happening on the planet now. If people are trying to shove their own ideas down people's heads, it's just about throats. It's just about dropping a seed and allowing people to cultivate that seed at their own time.
Yes, that's beautiful.
Yeah, and I've had somebody message me recently and said, Sandra, you said this to me a few years ago. Now I finally get it. And I actually had even forgotten about it. But I think we get so tied up sometimes as healers. When we do get into this space, when we first get into it, we want to help everybody. We really want to wake everybody up. But then we get to that place of, okay, I'm just going to sit back and allow them to take that journey, because we do go through that bumpy ride where the ego does come into it at times, and we get into this after all of a sudden we're awake and we want everybody to be like this and aware, and everyone's got to wake up. What can't they see? But it's just a matter of coming back, as you said, coming back into ourselves and into our own truth, because it's true for us. But just dropping a seed and meeting people, especially meeting people at where they are, not where we are. So when we drop a seed that is at their level.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And sometimes, it's hard for me to even know where people are in their journey. So I just look at them as another person just like me. And I don't even try to figure out where they necessarily are, because to me, I'll give you an example. So we were talking about intergenerational trauma. And so I will admit that I still have a lot of work to do with my own mother. And it's not something that people talk about in our culture. And I wish they would, because there's a lot of, if we think about how violence that starts in the home ends up in society, ends up in the world, it all does start at the home. And so this concept of like domestic violence has gotten more and more traction. People are more comfortable to talk about it. Well, but the mother-daughter kind of relationships are not so easy to talk about. People are not so open to talk about any kind of like issues there, because culturally we're just supposed to look at everyone as though they are Mother Mary, or you know what I mean? Like, yes. So there is a lot of pain there that I struggle with, or that people may struggle with, and I think it's just, I still try to look at my mother as though she has divinity within her. And hopefully one day she may be able to see that within me. And if I were to judge her as anything less or more than that, then I wouldn't be doing my duty or my job to try to be the best person that I could be. So, you know, instead of wondering where people are on their journey, I constantly just try to think, okay, well, how can I better view them with the divinity that's in them? Because that's my responsibility, and that's all that I can really do. It's really hard because I don't really think anybody who is enlightened walks around saying I'm enlightened. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we would never know who was really enlightened. You would never know. They would be so humble, you would never know. They would probably just be in the street, like just eating a peanut or something. Like you wouldn't know. So I tried to, one of the things that I alchemized was the concept of like trying to prove versus trying to understand. I think that's such a shift that I went through when I no longer want to prove. I know I'm speaking right now, but it's not to prove. It's just to like get on a common ground of understanding. It's such a different energy. I don't know if that makes sense, but.
No, makes perfect sense. And what I'd like to just add there, when you brought up about the mother issue, like it's not just a cultural issue for your culture. It's a common issue across the world. And if we realized that and we stepped into that, I had 3 mothers under the age of 3. So I had big mother issues,
Okay.
Massive mother issues. For me, and what I'd like to say to you to help you maybe is that I've sat back and I've gone, okay, what has happened in their lives to make them like that? And
Right.
I go past the word mother and I see the woman that sits behind it, because there's a pattern of whether it's a woman that brought me up, whether it's a woman that adopted me, or the woman that was in the middle, you know. So once we can come to terms and I go, thank you so much for teaching me that, I'm not expecting my mother that brought me up to see me for who I truly am, because I know, and I've accepted the fact she probably never will, and she doesn't have to. But what she's done is teach me that I'm enough as I am, and I don't need her to do that. I don't need that approval, because we believe that we want our mother's approval. And when I did want that, it actually affected my relationship with my own daughter.
Wow.
So once I healed my mother stuff and I worked on it and I did the forgiveness and a whole host of stuff, and I can see and I accept her, and she no longer triggers me. So while she was triggering me, it was my shit, and but now she doesn't, and I just go, yeah, I'm not going to react to it, because I stopped reacting to, which gave her then more stuff to trigger me, and to the point now that I see her for who she is, and I'm okay with that. I see her as a soul, not as my mother. I see her as a woman and the energy. And then I know my grandmother, she was my mother would have had stuff with her own mother, and it goes back and it goes back and it goes back. But because I stopped it at me, it's enabled me to have an amazing relationship with my daughter over the last 5 years.
Beautiful. That's so beautiful.
So that's what I'm very big on wanting women to have relationships with women, and with their mother, because what happens is that then that affects the relationships we have with other women.
Yes.
That's the feminine energy. Then I should have explained it a little bit earlier. That's the feminine energy. It starts with that mother, and all trauma starts with that mother, because like you said, with domestic violence, it starts with mum, and then, mum and dad, and then it goes on. Mothers teach their sons how to treat women. This is okay. Dad's doing this to mum, and I'm not condoning domestic violence, but this is a pattern over the years that happens. And then it's what we accept as mothers is what we're teaching our children to accept or not accept, or thinking, oh, it's got to be pushed over the carpet. And what it turns out to be is that little inner child within inside of us, that's that 5-year-old, that 8-year-old, that turns into a grown woman and still wanting that stuff from their mother. Why couldn't mum do this for me? Even though we're adults and we know different, it's about healing that little person that sits inside you, and pulling her out and sitting her down there and going, it's okay.
Yeah.
I got triggered the other day over something, and it was just like, oh, because I felt there's nobody in my family that supports the work that I do. And then it's just like, well, they don't have to. But that was still something that was from my childhood, where I didn't feel anybody supported me in those first few years. So I gratefully accept when this stuff comes up, and it's just like, okay, I've had my little sob. That's all right. And you're allowed to wallow. It's just how long we wallow in that mud like the hippo does.
No, that's a beautiful point. I think it's so graceful for you to be open and honest about that and allow, yourself to feel those feelings. And for me, I'm feeling the grief now in my heart for what I didn't experience growing up, and knowing that, I do need to nurture myself and nurture my inner child. But it's also important to recognize, like, that grief does live in our hearts, and it's important to feel the feeling and allow it to kind of do what it needs to heal and wash away, because so many addictions or, unhealthy behaviors can come out of trying to push that feeling away, just bury it deeper and deeper and deeper. And then it turns into disease, and it turns into all kinds of other things. So I honor you for sharing that story. And, I honor myself even for feeling the grief inside of me. So.
And that's beautiful. And it does sit in our heart. But to make it easier for it to come out of our heart, we must find it in the other areas of our chakras. If it's our voice, was our voice shut down while it's still sitting in the throat? Is it about our own sexuality or not feeling self-worth, and it's still sitting in our sacral? If it's, we were controlled, then we've still got stuff sitting in our solar plex. And if it's about safety, it's our base. I like to go through all of those and then come back to the heart last, because when we let go of everything that we have, the masks, everything, we can then step into that place of true unconditional love, and our heart just opens up, because as we heal the other areas of it, the heart just opens up, and it's just like, okay, I'm ready to open it up and let it go.
Beautiful. Yeah, I felt it heart opening when you said that. So that's a great explanation.
Awesome. So do you feel that you have a mission and a purpose on this planet? Obviously you do, because we've been chatting about it.
Yes.
So what are you passionate about? What makes you get up every morning and go, yes, I'm going to get this done?
So I am really excited to start my coaching practice. It is called Heal Thyself, Heal Thy World. And I'm super, super passionate and excited and fired up to be able to work with people who want to heal or interested in healing, and who realize that it's time. It's time to kind of come out of all these lower emotions that keep us stuck and trapped, and, just kind of walking through the mud, really. It's like being stifled in the mud, and just wanting to breathe and to take that fresh air in, and to feel the sunlight, and to grow ourselves like a beautiful plant, a beautiful lotus. So I'm going to be walking people through a journey of healing, and it will be coming out of that victim consciousness, because something that I've noticed with a lot of people who are coming to me is whatever problem it is, whether it's loss or lack of, intimacy in their relationships, lack of relationships, being lonely, lack of money, lack of everything. Everything is lack, which is at the base of it a sense of poverty consciousness, a sense of victim consciousness. And it's hard to deal with that, understanding that we are in a mindset that is attracting lack to us. And so I would love to be able to walk people through the process of overcoming that, because it is a mindset shift and rewiring and reprogramming to go from that and to be able to turn our whole entire life around. So it really fires me up to be able to know that I have the tools and the passion and desire and the compassion to want to hold people as they go through that journey. So that's what I want to do. That's what I am here to do. And I am learning all about abundance, because I really, in my lifetime, before I die, in my last life, I want to be able to say that I donated $1 million to helping the planet revitalize itself, helping all kinds of cultures who were dealt a very terrible hand, whether it was through slavery or indentureship. I want to be able to donate and give towards reparations, and I want to be able to heal the world around me and help people heal themselves so they can heal the world around themselves as well. So that's where I'm at right now, and it's going to take a lot of different forms, but I'm really happy to actually be on my mission.
Awesome. That's beautiful. Beautiful. So how can people take their darkest moments and use them for their highest good?
So I think it's one of those things, like you had mentioned about, we come out of the womb, we see the light, and then we go back into the darkness. I really do feel that when we go through the process and we're like, why are we here? Why is this happening? I'm putting in so much work. Why is this happening to me? Again, the victim consciousness. But when we come out of it, we're able to realize, like, oh crap, I learned so much from that. And now it's like raining lessons and raining blessings on me. And I want to be able to share that with others. I want to be able to give back. I want to be able to connect, and I want to be able to, share and to make my life mean something on this planet. So when we go through deep, dark things, it's important to realize that it's not just the deep, dark thing. We get a gift out of it. So one example, from my divorce, which can be, I can look back and I can stew in hatred and blame and guilt and shame and everything. Or I can focus on the fact that out of that, I got 2 beautiful, wonderful angel children. So through that, love is greater than any kind of hatred. So love is the gift there. And it's really, really important to take out of every single deep, dark, murky situation, every rock bottom, and realize what grew out of that. Because most of the time it's us. It's who we've become. And it's who we're becoming. We are the gift. So
that's beautiful. And I'd like to say that the biggest lesson or the biggest gift that we're all here to learn, 2 things, is forgiveness. Everybody's on the planet to truly learn forgiveness, and then unconditional love. And we've all been trying to learn this for many, many, many lifetimes, because if we learnt that and we worked through that, we wouldn't still keep coming back to the planet. Because it doesn't matter what happens in our life, no matter what's going on, it all comes down to forgiveness and unconditional love at the end of the day. And that's what gets us off the planet.
Yes.
Because we have, and when we step into truth, and it's forgiveness of self more so. Forgiveness starts with self, and unconditional love starts with self, because we cannot love another person unconditionally or truly forgive somebody unless we love ourselves unconditionally and truly forgive ourselves for the roles that we play in all sorts of things that have happened in our life.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree with that.
So how can people find you? How can they find you and work with you? And do you do online work? And and I'll put all your links and everything on this after the show. So
okay.
But how can they find you?
Yeah, I would love for people to find me. I'm so excited for this. We can go to healthyself.healthyworld.org. From there, I have a 3 Steps to Your Dream mini workshop. The more important thing, though, is to join the new Facebook group that I am creating. I'm going to launch it within the next 2 weeks, but it's already there. And it's Heal Thyself, Heal Thy World. It's a private group. And I really look forward to taking people through there to have your own personal healing journey, where it's a safe space. I'm going to monitor it so that everyone feels safe and comfortable and happy to kind of work through different ways we can take lower energies, lower feelings, and work through them and feel through them and be able to feel higher emotions, love, joy, beauty, harmony. So yeah, the Facebook group is probably the best way for now.
Yeah, and I'm just popping that in here because that's why I was listening to you, but I wanted to get it also into the chat as well for those that are watching it. And your group, what will it be about? What can people expect from your private group?
So you can expect that we'll be working through the chakras. We're going to start from the base foundation and we're going to work all the way up. And it's a great idea to go back into your heart, because I do agree that unconditional love is something that will help this planet immensely, because when we are focused there, we're not focused on ourselves anymore. We're focused on how we can serve each other and serve the planet, which is very needed right now. So we're going to work through our chakras, kind of have a safe space to hold one another, to go through deep, dark things that maybe we don't express elsewhere, and just have compassion and have a safe space to just be yourself. Learn to be authentic, learn to speak your truth, to walk through fears, to take your guilty pleasures and just turn them into pleasures, to find your center of power, to focus on unconditional love, to heal your grief. clarify any kind of confusion or doubts, everything. We're going to work through all of it.
Beautiful. And I'd like to thank you for joining me and having this chat. I've really enjoyed having this conscious chat with you. I'm sure our viewers have got, whether they're watching, a lot of people come back and watch the replay. And if they want to get, for you that are watching that replay, please reach out to this amazing woman and what she's offering. Join her Facebook group, become part of the tribe, and become part of creating change on the planet. And we can always learn from different people, and no one person is the guru. No one person is a guru. The only guru there is what resides inside of you. So I encourage all of you to jump in, learn, take a little bit, take as we all do, and especially as we're going through this time on the planet, is that there has never been a more important time to actually find your own truth and find what resonates with you and actually start to trust yourself. But there's amazing people out there like Suzanne, who's got all these tools and everything to work with you and to help you. And I encourage you all to join her private Facebook group. Thank you so much for joining me today. So
Thank you so much.
Anything you'd like to leave the viewers with?
I just look forward to working with people who are interested in healing. And thank you, Sandra, and God bless you all.
Thank you. And until next week, guys, on Conscious Chats with Sandra Meehan, have a fantastic week. Remember, I believe in you, and it's time you believed in yourself.